All right. Elias, welcome to the podcast.
Elias, welcome to the podcast.
Elias.
على اللبناني.
إذا بدك تقول Elias روح على جو روغن إكسبيرينس.
هلا شوف كم مرة أنت رح أنت شوف كم مرة رح تقول Elias بنص الحلقة أنت.
بس ما تعيدوليش للنو. That's the only requirement.
Deal. Welcome to the podcast, bro. Thanks for coming. It's been a while. We were going back and forth. عم نجرب نظبطها. بس زبطت. طيب أنت special case ليس مش مثل our traditional guest.
بس interesting perspective أكيد.
Of course. لا مش بالعكس ما the more unique the better.
صح. No pressure.
زعتر. طيب بعدين بركي نخبركم شو هي الزعتر بس
ما نخبروا ماشي الحال.
طيب قلنا خبرنا قصتك كيف جيت لهون أو كيف كنت هون ما بعرف عملنا سيربرايز.
إيه so أنا خلقت هون بنيو جيرسي وعشت هون كل حياتي. so أنا بدي أقول لكم من هلا بدي أحكي نص عربي نص إنجليزي هيك hybrid approach مشكل. إيه so أنا عشت هون بنيو جيرسي طول حياتي وأنا تعلمت العربي بالبيت.
Okay.
Right. So أمي وبيي من لبنان so هني نقلوا بلشوا عائلة هون بنيو جيرسي تعلمت العربي بالبيت ورحت على الجامعة بلشت بالشغل كل حياتي هون بنيو جيرسي.
So basically بالبيت مع أهلك بتحكي عربي.
Yeah.
That's why إنه comfortable تفتح معنا حديث يعني.
comfortable. بس اللي عايش هون كل حياته كثير قليل يكون comfortable يفتح conversation بالعربي.
مع إنه حتى لو بيفهم كل شيء مش دايما بيحكوا كل شيء.
كثير قليل برافو أنت وبرافو أهلك
يعني. thank you. هلا بفهم ال conversational Arabic بس النحوي مثلا ما بفهم.
عن جد؟
هلا أنا تعلمت العربي على السمع بس.
هي فصحى I think يعني.
نحوي فول فصحى.
نحوي يعني.
لا نحوي هو الفصحى.
هذيك دارج. لازم تعلمني قلص.
إيه بعرف الدارج مش
صح.
right. so ما بعرفش أكتب وأقرأ.
بس تحكي.
على الحكي
هي
بزيادة.
من to be fair كتير صعب العربي بالكتيبة وإنه it's hard ك grammar wise وهيك.
ايه خلص غير letters غير كل شيء انه مثلا بين الاسبانيش الانجليش والفرنش في letters in common يعني هن basically Latin letters يعني.
هلا ايه بالاسبانيش والفرنش قليل مكتوبين بالانجليزي الحرف انجليزي بس بالعربي ايه بالسكريبت. هلا امي جربت مره تعلمني على العربي بس المشكله انه بدك تتمرن كل يوم ومش عم بقرا شيء بالعربي. انا بروح على المدرسه كله بالانجليزي.
طب ليك growing up here اوكي انت خلص من انت وصغير عارف انه انت لبناني you're Lebanese و you're American obviously. عندك كان cousins تبعك هن لبنانية ولا أمريكان؟
هلا الكازنز تبعي كانوا لبنانية بس ساكنين بلبنان.
اوكي.
هلا بس في الاكستندد relatives الكازنز يعني quotation marks. أنا عشت معهم نحن كبرنا سوا so هن they're like my cousins extended family.
طب الكازنز اللي بلبنان how frequently كنت تشوفهم وقديه يعني كنت تنزل لبنان أو كانوا يجوا قديه كنت تحس بإنه difference إنه إنه أنت كبران هون basically وهن من لبنان أكيد في قصص فرق بالكالتشر بس ما بعرف كنت تحس بهيك شيء أو ما كنت حتى تفكر بهيك شيء أنت وصغير يعني.
هلا لا الفرق it was noticeable when I was younger بس كنت صغير.
أوكي.
الحياة هونيك غير عن هون right بس هلا in my adult years ما فيش فرق كتير كلهم بيحكوا إنجليزي كلهم بيشتغلوا so we actually have more هلا in common.
أوكي. كنت تشوفهم فيك كنت تروحوا على لبنان؟
هلا كنا ننزل every 2 to 3 years
which
actually is very funny بنقول ننزل لأنه نحن ساكنين بالجبل so actually we're going طالعين كنا نطلع على لبنان بس فوق بالجبل so بنقضي الصيفية هونيك يعني شهرين 3 أشهر بعد المدارس ونقضي الصيفية هونيك بلبنان every 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, always at least يعني تشوف الكالتشر بسيركل أوسع من سيركل أهلك والبيت وهيك يعني.
أكيد. وهلا كمان في كتير لبنانية بنيو جيرسي كمان.
لا هيك
نجتمع مع بعض.
خصوصي بالبرونزويك اريا يعني.
ليك الياس أنت خبرنا شوي what do you do هون هيك إنه إذا أكيد the legal stuff يعني مش.
of course. Is that why I signed the non-disclosure in the beginning? إيه هلا أنا I work in pharmaceutical consulting. I studied biomedical engineering about 10 years ago. I graduated, تخرجت, I didn't want to work in research. And I wanted to do more on the business side. So I started in pharmaceutical consulting, and it's all commercial consulting. Sales, marketing, drug pricing, drug acts. You're already looking away, you're bored.
لا أنا عم بضحك على بلاش بالدروغ so أنا عم أقول له إنه
it's a very complicated topic, and you can get lost talking about it for hours. So I'll try to keep it fun.
Okay.
But it's drug pricing, drug contracting, and how they negotiate for rebates for drugs.
Okay.
هيك off topic صوته لإلايس هيك كتير calm هيك خارج مايك هيك it's very calming أنا هيك عم بركز بس إنه عم بخفى.
I didn't tell you I'm a late night DJ FM.
هذا أنت؟
أنا أقول زي ما سألتك صراحة. what got you into it يعني إنه فيش إنه are you passionate about it or you have other passions or this is something fit عليه هيك؟
I've always been passionate about healthcare.
Okay.
It's the one thing that unites us all.
Nice.
Good old fashioned quality healthcare.
كانوا يقولوا الميوزك هو what unites us all.
إيه هلا
طلع الهيلث كير.
Those are my two options, but I couldn't learn to play the instrument, so I was forced into healthcare.
Okay.
So I studied, growing up, our parents, engineer, doctor, lawyer,
Definitely.
the typical, right? And I was like, doctor's nice, but it's not for me. So I settled for engineering.
We feel you.
بس أقرب شيء على الميديكال.
Medical. وبعدين the engineering كمان, it was too technical for me, and I wasn't great at it, but I liked the topic, the subject area, right? So بيسألوني مثلا شو درست؟ قلت لهم أنا مهندس شو؟
عمل بنيات.
أنا shit I'm like شو البايوميديكال؟ بقول لهم مهندس الطب.
كي مهندس ولا طب؟
هون بدي هون.
عشان أعرف حكيم أو مهندس.
مهندس الطب. Yeah. So.
How do you explain it عن جد إنه؟
ما هي the thing is كمان هيدا الشغلة it doesn't even have a qualified position like biomedical engineering. You either do design, you do quality, you do manufacturing, you do operations. هلا chemical engineer في chemical engineer job, بس biomedical ما فيش منها يعني.
أصلا assume يعني يلي إنه بيكون عم تشتغل sometimes in parallel مع electrical engineers ومع mechanical engineers ومع industrial engineers يعني so فيها كتير disciplines حسب ما أنا بعرف البايوميديكال engineering بس إنه كمان مثل ما حيلا 3/4 engineering fields في كتير بيروحوا towards more consulting work بالفيل تبعونهم يعني obviously بس
إيه مزبوط. So the thing that يعني the common thread بيناتهم is problem solving.
Yeah.
هي أكتر شيء. Consulting is the same thing as engineering, but instead of technical problem solving, it's more functional people problem solving. Well, consulting, it's just, they have ideas, they need بدهم مساعدة, they have to think through it, and we come in, we help them, challenge their ideas, نعطيهم perspectives. The projects are 4 to 8 weeks بس,
Okay.
وين بيخلصوا. بس بننقل من project to project, client to client. ونحن, like my clients مثلا, they're like the bigger pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
هون بنيو جيرسي نيويورك ببنسلفانيا بهالمنطقة.
Okay. معقول يكون شي نهار your clients هن hospitals أو ما بتصير هيك شيء.
هلا الكمباني تبعي they have consulting projects مع hospitals. بس أنا شغلتي مش مع hospitals مع pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
بس hospitals are the customers. So نحن we develop strategies مثلا on how to drive more prescriptions and volume of product in the hospital setting.
Okay.
انتو you're the evil people.
ليش إذا ما بيعبوا لك كل medication كرمالك.
مظبوط. Affordable medications. Affordable and equal access.
دبليك.
ما قلت له ما نفوت فيها.
في أنا بيعصب ولا بيزعل.
زعتر.
لا كرمال شغله مش كرمال
دبليك هلا assuming إنه في حدا يمكن عم بيدرس biomedical engineering هلا أو هيك. شو إذا بدك the way تفوت ب your field is it دغري straight out أو بتقطع ب more technical position more engineering position before that?
Yeah, it's funny you asked me that. No, I had someone who reached out to me today asking for advice exactly on this. وتفاجأت. I was like,
ما بعرف.
but I'm like, no, I do know. I have a perspective. هلا biomedical engineering, if you're passionate about it, مظبوط, then you go into research, right? You get your master's, your PhD, you work in pharmaceuticals, biotech, you do research, drug development, tissue engineering, biomechanics, medical devices. في كتير قصص, right? You can get into. But if you're passionate about the industry, like life sciences, pharmaceuticals, but you're not that technically interested in like the actual science, you pivot to commercial, sales, marketing, supply chain, manufacturing, operations. Nowadays it's tangential to the science, but you're still in the same industry. So you have options, or you go into finance. Because engineers are good with math, so they can do well in finance.
But ما في prerequisite, let's say.
Prerequisite للشو.
I know like toward more of a consultancy.
No. هلا consultancy هلا they hire like مثلا my company, a lot of companies with consulting, they hire دغري من الجامعة.
Okay.
Right? 4 years or even your MBA, they hire you. Oh, من industry, if you have other industry experience. With consulting, you're just providing perspectives and ideas. Well, you're good with managing stakeholders.
Okay.
So you have to be a good people person. Come in.
Yeah, definitely.
حلو. It's good. Something I probably would like is this. مش behind the computer drafting or some shit.
هلا it's behind a computer. That's for sure.
أكيد بس there's you interacting with people.
Yeah, that's right. هلا it's weird though. Come in like you have a client you report to, you have your boss you report to, then your people advisor you report to. You have a lot of people you report to, so it could be a little stressful.
Headache.
Yeah, in that setting. But it's very challenging. Then every couple of weeks, مثلا, you have a new project, new team, new client, new environment. It's like starting a new job every 6 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I know. حلوة بس again it's stressful بس you can adapt that much صراحة.
Yeah, you get used to it. هلا مثلا every college kid بس يتخرجوا, right? 21, 22. They had the past 4 years planned out for them. Syllabus, courses, registration, all it's planned out for them. They have the entire semester planned out. When you finish college, no one gives you a playbook anymore, right? Okay, this is what you do now this year. It's all up to you at that point. So that's the first crisis you have in life. In بعد college, when no one tells you what to do with the rest of your life. Then once you start getting used to that uncertainty, you start to relax, a bit more. That's very much consulting. You have to be comfortable with uncertainty.
Yeah. It's funny. هيدا البوينت أنا دايما بحكي عنها بس حتى it starts قبل بالنسبة إلي. تطلع بين المدرسة والجامعة إنه أنت بتذكر my feeling و3/4 العالم بس يوصلوا على الترمينال. نحن أنتم ما بعرف هاي سكول تخلصوا هاي سكول بس تخلص الترمينال خلصت.
لا
ابدا ما خلصت. توصل على الجامعه اوكي بالمدرسه عن جد كانوا كل شيء لقموك اياه يعني هيدي وهي هيك. توصل على الجامعه لا في effort بدك تحطه انت بس as you said everything is planned. في الكورس syllabus كل الهيدا بتاخده بتقطع فيه كمان بس خلي الجامعه تقول خي خلصت
ترجع تاخذ الكف الأكبر.
ترجع بنوصل على اللي عم تحكي عنه انت. هون ما حدا بيعرف شيء وما حدا في يقول لك شيء لأنه there's no right answer يعني.
ليك تعرف شو حسيت؟ أنا حسيت بس خلصت جامعة إنه في ناس عم تعمل ماسترز بس إنه they don't want to face the reality of أوكي بلش الجد. لأنه إذا بتأجل سنة سنتين ماسترز بتضل بهالجو تبع المدرسة وواضحة وينك وين رايح. then بس تروح تقدم على أشغال هونيك ببلش عن جد تاكل
100%
كف رطب. هيدا مش إنه هيلا كيف بيكون.
تعرفت على حدا بماي undergrad studies بالجامعة معي. الصبي كل 2 or 3 years بيغير جامعة وميجر ما بيخلص ولا ميجر وبيسافر وبيروح exchange programs وخبار وهيدا الحياة اللي عايشها. ما بده
ما عندش 500,000
ليش ما بتخلص ما بده بروح وكتير هو أصلا هيدا اللي بده يعيش وحده بده الحياة غير أصلا عنده يعني هاي الاتيتيود بس partly أنا بقول أكيد إنه he scared from
ما بده يكبر
what comes after. ما بده يكبر.
إنه it's a fair point بس إنه eventually we have to face it يعني. بس I was gonna make a point ونسيت. زعتر. زعتر is our safe word. إذا حدا علق رح يقول زعتر ونكفي.
أنا I trademarked it so
إيه فيك أنت منه.
بس بهالابيزود فينا نستعملها ما فينا نستعملها بغير ابيزود ولا بدفع له.
It's our safe word.
طيب other than work لا عرفت شو بدي أقول لك. برجع بسحب الزعتر سحبتهم. أنت كله قد بيو جيرسي بس بتسافر كتير كنت بشغلك قبل كوفيد وهيك
yeah.
ليش ضليت بجيرسي وإنه obviously في أهلك وربيت هون وكل شيء بس في كتير other places فيك تروح عليهم إنه بتفضل ضل بجيرسي ولا ساعة بتفت على الشغل وبقيت هون و you're already traveling بشغلك أو I want to know your perspective.
هلا two reasons right maybe كمان يمكن both of them you can relate to. أول reason you know Lebanese culture right we grew up close مع أهلنا right مع العائلة so I was never of the مثلا فكرة mindset إنه I had to live somewhere special to feel happy بكون مبسوط right أنا على طول بدي دل حد أهلي وأصحابي right that to me is more meaningful right so that was kind of principle number one.
It's very valid.
Principle number two إنه the first 4 or 5 years بالشغل يعني سافرت كل جمعة Monday to Thursday بالأوتيل I was away most of the week بروح في Pennsylvania, Boston, California, Chicago, Indianapolis, Delaware يعني كل جمعة بالأوتيل right من بعد شي 3-4 years like يعني خلاص you get tired of it وشفت كتير you just want to settle down وأنا قضيت مثلا 9 أشهر ببوسطن right beautiful city أنا حبيتها كتير وفي كتير there's a lot of stuff to do international like community وكلهم the average age مثلا is like 23 لأنه it's all universities or colleges بس أنا I would sit at night in my hotel room no friends no family شو بدي أعمل ببوسطن أنا طيب you go out أول جمعة جمعتين أول شهر بعدين what do you do with the rest of the time how many times can you have dinner alone you know so قلت أنا you know what it doesn't matter where I live as long as I'm next to أصحابي والفاميلي تبعي بكون مبسوط that's it
okay fair point
which answers the question كان بدي أسأله قبل أنا بس إنه partly it answers it كان بدي أسأله إنه إذا هو فكر شيء نهار بحياته إنه بده يعيش فترة بلبنان let's say حدا أمريكاني قليل تيفكر بينما حدا مثلنا إجا في كتير ناس هلأ بالسيتويشن تبعنا بيفكروا إنه لا أنا بدي أرجع أعيش بلبنان eventually وهيك أنت كحدا إنه عندك part منها كتير لبناني culture لبنانية فكرت تعيش بلبنان أو same answer applies here يعني
أنا when I was younger كلهم بيقولوا لي مثلا بلبنان حابب ترجع تعيش بلبنان احنا فلينا حابب ترجع تعيش بلبنان بقول لهم you know yeah يعني انا منبسط كثير بلبنان اذا في شغل وراقت السيتويشن بس deep down I knew it wasn't gonna happen right بس it was nice to have it as like a dream بس انا بحب روح على لبنان مثلا بقضي جمعتين 3 جمعة إذا بيطلع لي بشوف القرايب بنسهر ليلتين ببيت whatever بس ما فين أنا ما فيناش أعيش بلبنان واللبنانية اللي إجوا لهون تعودوا هون ما فيناش يرجع لبنان
لا مظبوط لا أكيد
so it's bittersweet you have a longing to go back even if you weren't from there you have an identity there but realistically you have to compromise but somehow take the best of both worlds and make it work
لا أكيد يعني حتى مثل ما قلت أنت الناس اللي إجوا لهون حتى older age أنا جيت عمر relatively كبير يعني بتصير تفكر إنه بيصير عندك doubts إذا قادر ترجع تعيش هونيك خصوصي هلا يعني خصوصي مع instability اللي عم نشوفها و how you compare it مع instability اللي موجودة هون it's hard والكل بيقول لك حتى الناس اللي عايشين بيوروب من بعمرنا بيقول لك إنه I'd rather go for a vacation there's nothing to worry about هونيكي ما عندي مشكلة أظهر وروح وأتسلى عارف إنه شغلي ناطرني وين ما أنا أو جماعتي even اللي قبل ناطرتني وين ما أكون هذا هيك بتصير
صح. أنا هون في إشياء حتى ليلي أعتبر هلأ الوضع بلبنان مثل قبل which is منيح مش كتير منيح بس إنه أحسن من هلأ بكتير كان من 3 4 5 سنين في إشياء هون ما بنفكر فيها أخي مثلا هون ما بتغير جرة غاز أبسط شيء بلبنان إنه هي بسيطة it's nothing بس إنه فيها إشياء بسيطة بحس إنه وين نرجع أنت شقت إيدك كمان أنا كمان
واو
نايس
كتير حلو
فإنه في إشياء خلص فاست تتعود له to the point where ما فيك ترجع وإن general a lot of things غير حتى السواقة مثلا شيء تاني إنه تنزل على لبنان من السواقة already هلا أنا وإيف معودين أنت مش معود obviously إنه بس سواقة بلبنان is something يعني
أنا سقت بالجبل فوق ما فيش كتير سيارات بس المشكلة إنه تطلع وتنزل ما فيش railings على الكوع صح one wrong turn تنزل بالجل you know
guide rail للضعاف
زاد
هذا غير ليفل
بس to be fair السكي هون ما في railings في جل والله هون ما بتموت بلبنان في railings بالسكي حسب وين صح بس أنا many places فما في محل تعرف وادي الجماجم ايه طيب ما بتعرفها
بس كنت you've heard of بس كنت
خيلتي من
لا توصل على بس كنت من بيروت او من برمان او whatever بدك تطلع على هالطريق قبل كانت كتير ضيقه و I think سموها وادي الجماجم قد ما في ناس ميتة عن هالطريق cause ما في railings وفي وادي كتير ديب فوين ما تقطع فيه هيك صليب مشكوك cause في حدا ميت هونيك انه it's unfortunate يعني بس انه free for all كانوا بيمشوا هيك whoever caves بيموت
انا ما كنت عارف how much اذا بدك ديزاين وخبار goes into guide rails او guard rails بيسمون قبل very recently انا بشتغل بانه بهالفيلد basically و I was working على ديزاين لا guide rail او guard rail كل هذا بيسميه شيء ما بعرف شو بسميه لهم اياه anyway man في standards يعني pages واذا عندك هيك بدك هيك واذا عندك هيك بدك هيك وعندك هيك بدك هيك وفي types of الاندنج غير اللي بالنص وغير هيك
هذا هون
ايه لا عم بحكي هون بحكي هونيك
تحط حيالله شيء is a plus يعني
بس شيء هد شوي ايه بس انا my colleague بالشركة he's from New Jersey عم بيخبرني كان انه خبرته انا اول ما طلعت my permit وهيك خبرته قال لي بس انه driving in Jersey بدك تكون انه قدر انه هون كل درايفرز كياتك قلت له بس انه انا منيح اللي جيت على جيرسي انه هي اقرب شيء على هاو اي نو يعني
نيويورك اقرب شيء نيويورك اقرب شيء اضرب من جيرسي نيويورك
بالسيري
بدك تكون قد عن جد لانه مثل لبنان بيجي شاكك عليك وكذا فانه ألبرت بتحمس بيكون ألبرت خي عم بيسوق تعال اقول لك انا شيء جاي من لبنان
انا بعرف
طيب الياس what is your passion other شغل مش your passion and how do you spend your time other than work شيء like a hobby or something you do on the side أو شيء
you caught me at a good time in my life
oh yeah
بلش شيء جديد شكله
بلش شيء جديد I did some ما بعرف كيف بدي أقوله بالعربي soul searching كيف بيقولوا بالعربي soul searching يعني
فتش على روحك شو دي empty acid
no to find out مثلا like what would a hobby be like for Elias right like what would make me happy spend my time
okay
I get enough socializing so I don't need to be around any more people
but I want to get away from
اليوم was a stretch
this was a stretch and بعد the work day no so I want something maybe I can do on my own something that requires skill building I like to self-improvement
okay definitely
that type of stuff
painting
مش painting close
sculpturing
getting closer it's a little bit more active
carpenting
it's a sport
okay
but you can develop on your own بدي أحذركم شوي
shadow box on your own
close I'll give you the answer golf
okay
so golf is one of the sports يعني I was never interested in never in the sport but I'm more interested in the benefits and the actual learning process so I just signed up for a 5-week class today every Monday 1 hour you get trained by instructor on golf the rules the short game the long game teeing off all that stuff so I figured I can do it on my own I don't need other people I can relax be outside enjoy the weather
it's mostly played
بريق راسي برا
دول معهم مصاري جو بشكل اسمه
هلا أنا I started skiing first time this season كمان looking for hobbies هلا this soul searching process has been like 6 months
بس إنه بلشت باثنين مش هيني
هلا أنا I went on a ski trip I loved it next season I'm going
all in.
full season all in Well, in the spring, golf is my sport.
Nice.
So these are my hobbies. If anyone asks, I have an answer lined up.
But why did you decide إنه أنا هلا بدي أفتش soul searching إنه زهقت أو شيء? What was
No, it wasn't إنه زهقت إنه عم بيمضي الوقت بسرعة. وأنا I look back وبشوف إنه all I'm doing is عم بشتغل. That's it. بشتغل وبشوف إنه أهلي وخياتي و of course my girlfriend وأصحابي. طيب هذي they're all great بس I wanted something different. I'm time is flying by. You know what? Let me learn a new skill, a couple new skills. While I still can.
I'm for it. I'm with it 100%. بس إذا أنت you're enjoying, let's say your work, or hanging out with your family, friends, and girlfriend, and all that. Do you really have to look back saying I learned that skill? And I'm just curious. But I'm all for learning skills and stuff.
Yeah. It's for me more about the opportunities to learn.
Okay.
Right. I'd never done a podcast before this, but I wanted to try it and learn something new. How am I doing, guys?
You're great. أصلاً you came to the right place and people. يعني أنا وألام من الناس يلي دايماً we look for personal growth. حتى بحيلا شيء بنعمله. يعني أنا أوقات بحكي على إنه برو اليوم تعلمت أعمل هيدا software let's say إنه لأنه هيك وزيت شيء على that's why أصلاً we did the podcast. يعني إحنا لأنه
أكيد
بنحب إذا بدك اوكي ذي كليشيه فريز تقول انه invest my time in something useful بس انه هو deep down انه من satisfaction اللي بتاخدها بس بوقتك الفاضي تعمل شيء productive شيء يفيدك هيدا كتير احلى من satisfaction اللي بتاخدها انه
of course
خيطة يعني
وكمان في different ways like مثلا you can have a hobby that's a little bit more mental like cerebral right بتشغل عقليتك بس أنا مشغل راسي طول النهار بدي فضيه بالعكس هلا بدي فضيه سألت بدي do something active outdoorsy that engages more مثلا the physical senses like golfing and skiing.
أنا يعني مش مجرب golfing مجربها مرة بس إنه أنا مثلا كمان أنا بس أعمل snowboard خلاص بتنبسط في feeling بتاخده أنت when you're على slopes. Like I really get what you're saying. It's nice that you tried هالشي صراحة. بس ليك what about golfing? جربت شيء أو بلشت أو لا؟ Not yet.
هلا أنا لا جمعة الجاي رح بلش الكورس بس أنا I've played maybe once or twice. Okay. هيك so I know what it's like بس أنا I have no skill no training nothing يعني هيك improvised.
اوكي بس الكورس كيف بيكون يعني مثل ما بعرف رايح على شي مره على توب جولف هيك بلاتفورم بتبلش تشوت عنها او بيكون على الفيلد مزبوط
هو على الفيلد مزبوط yeah it's like 9 holes مثلا and then they take you مثلا you start with the driving right that's where you tee off وبعدين he's like the short game which is like 70% of golf right you play on the green so it's like a class of 8 people and they walk through the instructions etiquette في etiquette كمان بعد بدنا نتعلم الetiquette so there's that so there's a lot to learn which is interesting كمان the technique it's all technique
yeah
you ever see a big bulky golfer before لا كلهم ضعاف مثلي
so planning to go pro شكلك
so that tells you that's all technique it's skill it's kind of like art right you have to be very careful with how you line up the ball your angles your positioning your swing your rotation all of that so I'm looking forward to it
very nice
definitely لا exactly it's about technique
إذا حب البودكاست هلا بكرة بلش his own podcast
about golfing
about golfing
and skiing golfing while skiing
well make a YouTube channel about golfing
yeah beginner's guide
not about
a real-time beginner's guide
take us through your journey عن جد man صراحة these are the best videos إنه تكون جايد مش جايد like تمشي قدام ولا العالم اللي بدون ولا
yeah definitely هيك مرة أصلا كنت عم بحضر يوتيوبر أنا هو كتير شاطر honestly بس هو عم بيقول إنه أنا what I'm teaching you guys is not لا the right way ولا the best way ولا شيء this is what worked for me this is what I'm trying and working apparently وعم بقول لكم شو عم بعمل I'm sharing it if it works for you perfect إذا قدرتوا منه to take something make it better أو make it yours كمان perfect بس إنه ما عندي book كاتبه ولا شيء يعني which is إنه 3/4 العالم اللي succeeded على يوتيوب هن هيك إنه out of personal experience
هلا ليكو اذا انتوا بدكم تتعلموا نيو هوبي براند نيو شو بتنقوا انتوا؟
اتعلم
شيء جديد.
زعتر. لا عم جاري افكر مش عم تطلع معي.
لا انا
تنس. It's not easy. ما أنا قضيت 6 أشهر I'm thinking about it. يعني هلا yeah it's not easy بس إنه it's an interesting question to ask yourself.
It is. إذا بدك تعطي إنه جواب إنه شوي نفكر فيه مش إنه
هلا off the top of my hand the top of my at the top of my head I would say أنا بحب أتعلم غني مزبوط بس إيه مش فاضيلي. شو بدي أعمل ما بعلم.
تفكر أنا بعرف غني
إنه if there's something I would want to invest my time it's either playing an instrument or singing. Because this is nice but at the same time I'm not doing this مش لأنه ما عندي وقت obviously I can dedicate time بس إنه at this point ماني حاسس I need a hobby because I spend most of my day working و I enjoy it. I enjoy اللي عم بعمله at this point ماني حاسس إنه بدي فتش على شيء أتعلمه بس eventually I will learn something بس إنه right now
أنا بحس
building يعني more than
أنا إذا بدي جاوب بزيد طريقة الجواب فيها على أو إذا بدي هيك على السريع بقول تنس. هيك دايما بقول عبالي ألعب تنس عبالي جرب تنس مجرب مرة يمكن بس again لأنه أنا personally من الناس اللي عندهم sides hustles وقصص skills that I learned بحب to invest my time طور الأورادي عندي إياهم أخذهم next level. هيدا يعني إذا بدي أعطيك جواب هلأ كيف عم فكر يعني يمكن that's why sometimes I مش avoid بس إنه ما بفكر فوت بشي جديد لأنه I have stuff to develop prior to switch to هيك شي جديد ما بعرف. That's my answer.
Let's switch it up شوي. أنا عم بعمل شيء هلا هيك nobody أنا عم بعمل dopamine detox.
Dopamine detox كيف شكل؟
Elaborate.
So في كتير types. Sometimes people throw their phone away for a week ما بدي فيه. Obviously this is not reasonable for me هلا. اللي عم بعمله I unsubscribed from most YouTube channels عنديهم the educational ones the ones that I learned stuff from و my phone I use it 1 hour per day بس كل وقت كبه بالأوضة و I meditate 10 minutes a day.
هلا الدوبامين شو that's the reward chemical right?
Exactly. So أنت every time you تفتح Instagram and you scroll you get this dopamine hit YouTube whatever أو حتى usually أنا بس أشتغل بحط podcast in the background أو شيء.
لوف هيدي دايرة
معلش
هلا بتدفع
15 minutes بس.
بعد يمكن تعملها مرة هيدا.
So usually بس أكون قاعد عم بسمع podcast I learned إنه أو لاحظت إنه this is productive procrastination إنه technically you're procrastinating كل وقت عندك الدوبامين عم يشتغل براسك إنه عم تتعلم أشياء whatever so عم بعملها وصراحة my productivity كتير زاد لأنه بكون قاعد على طول تليفوني حد عم يشتغل بلقط تليفوني يعني ما في dead time اعتبر في 15 seconds something is loading I grab my phone I scroll Insta Twitter Facebook whatever so عن جد it helps إنه ما تقطش هالفوكس تبعك. Overall it gave me way more time to think throughout the day. إنه مثلا أجلكم بس فوت على الحمام تاخد معك تليفونك وتقعد تستعمله أو فيك تفوت عن جد ما عندك شيء يبقى تقرأ الشامبو بوتل زي بدك تفكر شوي so it's nice صراحة يعني فكرت بكتير أشياء أو مش فكرت بكتير أشياء لاحظت إنه بالنهار ما منفكر at least أنا كيف كنت the way I was doing it because I always fill up my time مثلا هتبقى عم بتحمم حاطط يوتيوب فيديو in the background وعم بلبس حاطط يوتيوب فيديو قاعد على الصوفة ناطر لنمشي فاتح انستغرام ما في تايم تقعد تفكر at least هيك كنت هلا حسيت إنه أنا ناطر فيه أقعد أفكر which is good منيح تفكر صراحة to be fair.
هلا إنه is it like truly a dopamine detox or is it more of clearing out like productivity killers right like مثلا right like coffee chocolate sweets how do they create dopamine rush
أكيد.
right
well of course well obviously I don't think I cleared out كل شيء dopamine but you know I did definitely cut back on dopamine technically but the main thing is So obviously it's productivity killers, but the thing is كمان شيء تاني وقت you wake up sometimes you grab your phone and open Instagram.
Right.
When you start with rushing dopamine
with
through
that.
your brain, it's like everything else بيصير بالنهار meh.
Not as
It's
exciting.
Like, not as exciting because you got that
Yeah.
hit in the morning because obviously we're all addicted to our phones and devices and whatever. So for honestly حسيت فرق a big portion of this is just having your phone in another room. This is a game changer. يعني انسى كل شيء اعتبر فيه افتح انستا بس انه اذا كان بتين اوضه.
وكمان there's less stress associated with missing out on things that you know are happening.
Exactly.
Because you don't know about them. They're not in front of you.
I'm not sure.
Sorry, one more rule كمان ما بحضر YouTube unless I'm taking notes and I'm actually learning something. مش إنه حاطط YouTube video my brain is going places.
Rabbit hole.
Exactly. So بركز. Anyway, go.
لا I've partially I would say experienced هالشي مش إذا بدك الإكستريم أو بهالطريقة الويل educated اللي أنت عم تحكي عنها. إنه أنا كذا مرة throughout آخر let's say 3-4 years انشغل فترة بشي وبس انشغل هالفترة بهالشي خفف من و sometimes وقف من كل إذا بدك let's call تبع التليفون in specific اللي بتعملوه على your cell phone كان إنستغرام وهيك و after that ما يكون بقى عندي the urge to get back عليها. هذا شيء كتير ريحني وعطاني free time. أنا كنت ما بقدر ما خلص كل الصور تبع انستغرام ما بقدر يعني بدي أقطع عليهم كلهم.
عندك مشاكل؟
كنت هيك كنت عندي مشاكل لحد ما خلص انشغلت ما عاد افتح انستا وخلصت. أنا أوقات أكيد بفتح انستا بس شو بفتح هيك ماش دقيقة حتى 30 seconds بعمل هيك لايك نابوب سكرت خلصت ما شفت كل الصور وهذا I don't care. هاي شغلة منيحة. غير هيك وقت كنا نسافر sometimes على مطارح ما كتير في شو اسمه reception
صح
ما هيدا after هيك a day or two بتصير مرتاح ما عندك هيدا. That's why I agree you know that could work sometimes.
Michael, what do you think about the next generation? بعدنا. You think social media will be a tool for their advancement or it's gonna impede their growth? They're fucked.
Well, they're definitely sharp. صراحة كثير من مش well I don't want to say sharp. They have very low attention spans. بس they have a lot of knowledge. يعني هلا اقعد احكي مع ولد عمره 5 سنين بتتفاجئ شو بيعرف اشياء ما عرفتهم انا الا صار عمري 15 يعني يا انا بطيء يا الموضوع بس انه لا honestly they're exposed to a lot of information.
More
يعني انا
information.
my cousin I think عمره شي 7 هو عم بيعلمني كيف مشي الابل واتش و I ask him questions about how to هو ما عنده وحده يعني انه so I don't know man.
بس انا sometimes بحس يمكن هذه النقطة مضبوطة بس اوقات بحس انه ما عندهم الاناليتيكال سكيلز يلي نحن عنا اياها من وراء the fact يمكن انه قادرين يعرفوا حيالله انفورميشن بحيالله وقت بحيالله دقيقة لا يعني الكونفرسيشن فيها more إذا بدك modern knowledge yet actual mental skills أوقات بحس they like that. ما بعرف إذا ما هلا عم فكر فيها.
I think it it comes down to responsible use.
Of course.
1000%. We grew up مثلا you know computer, internet, social media. It was all within our generation, right? But in بعدنا they're going to be born into it.
Right.
So unless anyone teaches responsible use of it,
of course, it's
they're not going to know what
1000% on
they're
the
missing
parents.
out on.
It's 1000% on the parents. لأنه الولد إنه إذا أنت your phone بإيدك وتقول له شيل التليفون لابنك من إيدك ما راح يشيله obviously. You know, you have to lead by example. So as the parents they're addicted and they're always on their phones, you can't expect the children to be any different
right.
unfortunately. Which brings me to my other point إنه أنا بعمل dopamine detox بس في كتير ولاد بدون dopamine مش بس detox like dopamine they need dopamine. What do they call them? مش detox, it's dopamine deficiency I think they call it. إنه
they're desensitized. They're not getting it anymore.
إنه خلص 1 hour screen time per day مثلا. This is it. إنه بتبه أنا I grew up بلعب games وهيك on the PC and I think it's important إن أولاد يلعبوا because عن جد بتقويلهم a lot of things in their brain بس obviously within responsible use. والولد برو إذا بتعطيه ايباد في يلعب 24 hours
صح
ما راح يزهق. أكيد it's on the parents بس كمان زيادة to answer your point about analytical skills this also is it has to be a responsibility of the educational system لأنه إذا عم يعطوا التلاميذ exams فيك تلاقي الانسرز على جوجل you're not challenging them خلص إنه أنا I would find the answer on Google بس إذا بتعطيك problem which بده يفكر this is how you grow this as well it's a responsibility on society as a whole لأنه since everything is shifting ونحن بعده السيستم ماشي على كيف كان من 50 و100 سنة obviously it has to adapt somehow.
They have more ways to control the system currently. Sorry, to win.
Of course. إذا بعطيك math problem 2 times 5 وأنت عمرك 3 بفوت 2 times 5 ما تليفونك بجايبتك. Literally إنه فيك تتذاكر. بس
هلا if you want to expand on the responsible use coming out of college, right? بس تتخرج you start working, you start making money, like good money. No one teaches you مثلا the difference between a debit card and a credit card.
Oh no, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No one teaches you مثلا how to pay your bills, how to build credit.
Right.
Most people don't even realize they have credit until they need it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a feature of the American system which is just broken. Yeah. You know, it's really awful. You know, they spend all this time teaching you about I don't know, subjects that are just so like detailed and outdated, right? I'm not going to say like chemistry and physics because I grew up with chemistry and physics, but sometimes it's like we spend a little too much time on some of the more advanced stuff. We lose some of the fundamentals. Like even in economics class, can't they have like a portion dedicated to life after college and managing your finances?
Definitely. حتى مرة حكين بهالpoint ما أعرف إذا بالبودكاست أو لا. 100%.
You go out of college, you're definitely not ready. Fortunately though, في YouTube channels, a lot of channels
you can self-teach yourself.
I learned that stuff because of YouTube. But إنه obviously, since parents and students are investing so much money into these systems, you would expect them to teach you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and this is the most important out of everything, they don't want you to know that stuff, because once you do, you're out of the rat race, and you're basically like school creates factory workers back then, which is the equivalent of, let's say, corporate or being in a 9 to 5 or whatever. Nothing wrong with that, definitely. However, when they tell you, here, buy this t-shirt that you want and pay us $10 a month for the next 2 years or whatever, and when you finance your life away, this is when you finance your life away, هاي المشكلة. This is what they promote everywhere, and unfortunately the system معمول يرجع يفوتك فيها كلها. So
yeah,
it all goes down to, okay, you have to buy your own house when you're 25 أو اللي هي خد mortgage for 30 years. خليك معنا.
No one
أكيد بدهم يعملوا their best to keep أكتر portion العالم possible بالسيستم.
أكيد.
وإلا ما في system. إذا كل العالم برات system ما في system يعني which makes chaos كمان up to a certain extent يعني. فوتوني هلا أنا بكتير أفكار.
صراحة عن جد college lately عم بتطلع إنه okay, you learn a lot of skills أكيد, بس a lot 80% of the shit you learn عزبالة عن جد.
It's content knowledge يعني قليل يعني بتستعمله, بس the skills you develop are more transferable.
صح.
Problem solving, communication, working as part of a team, articulating yourself, presentation. هذا كلهم
في واحد قال he's very successful, قال إنه أنا إذا بدي أنصح حدا يفوت على الجامعة يعمل math and English or literature, because these are the two skills he needs. يتعلم basic math وإنه like to mentally مش زي يكونوا mental math بارشها, بس إنه it helps you become more analytical math in general. English communication, with those you're good. إنه بشغلك قدير related اللي تعلمتون.
Everyone asks me, oh, what did you have to learn to be good at consulting? I told them nothing. It's all on the job training.
Exactly.
So if you're willing to learn on the job, you'll be perfect.
1000%. بس yeah.
ايه لا انا يعني نرجع للسؤال الاساسي هو تبع النيو جنريشن. اوريدي انا شايف دايما بنحكي بالموضوع. جوليا فينا بس نحط القصص اللي بدهم براد وخلاص. ايه لا شايف كتير قصص يعني عند النيو جنريشن من ورا كيف هن صاروا يتصرفوا مع كل شيء provided لهم, most likely من ورا انه كيف الرول تبع الأهل معهم إذا عم بيعملوا ذي رول مزبوط ولا لا. بحس إنه لا that's sad for their future. يعني بحس إنه لا that will not do well بعدين يعني.
هلا I feel like أهلنا قالوا زيت شيء عنا نحن لأنه we grew up with PlayStations and computers. بحس إنه it's somewhat similar. يعني مثلا ما كنا نسمع إنه نحن بعمركم كنا نضل نلعب برا أنتوا قاعدين بالأوضة عم تلعبوا PlayStation أو هي. However كمان ما فينا كثير نلوم الأهل or the parents of the new generation which is basically us or whatever لأنه it's not like إنه حدا جهزنا إنه إيه next year كل العالم معها تليفونات ورح تكونوا كلكم addicted to this. إجت هيك
إجت هيك ونحن we have to figure it out.
Exactly. Which is
some did better than others.
أكيد exactly 100%. كمان علينا إجت إنه بوف ولا تجت يعني okay let's say أهلنا هلا بيعرفوا إنه هيك لازم يربوا الأولاد because هيك كان الستاندرد. It stayed like that for a while. Rarely any phones at home. هلا it's a whole different game. عندك phones عندك فيه يفوت يحضر شيء whatever فيه يطلع بوجهه يعقده كل حياته مثلا الولد أو اللي هي
هلا like هلا when the next generation after us they're gonna have something new.
أكيد
right
absolutely.
And then they're going to be living in it, and we'll be like, "Oh, what happened to the days when you're on your iPad?" رزق الله.
لا أنا بس كنت بعمرك نضل بالأوضة على الآيباد كل حين.
هلا now they've got the Oculus and the metaverse.
Oh, they're communicating with their brains or something. Neuralink تبع ماسك.
أنا بزلا what I'm saying إنه يكونوا ال parents aware of the stuff that are happening. Just يكون في إذا بدك a certain awareness أو control يعني كل الديفايسز الموجودين إذا عم نحكي specifically عن devices يلي معهم إياها الأولاد كل devices في عندهم certain parental control عليهم. يمكن بيخلون limited screen time limited إذا بدك websites إنه في قصص restricted إنه بس هيك certain just to be safe لأنه قد ما صارت أوسع الريتش تبعولن صار أخطر الأوتكم يعني.
أكيد.
نحن كنا نلعب جيمز بس كنا نلعب جيمز أوفلاين let's say. صاروا يلعبوا جيمز أونلاين مع ناس غير يعني. يمكن أنت أهلك خلينك تلعب جيمز وأنت وابن عمك وخلصت.
صح.
That's it. بس هيك إنه يكون في بس هالأويرنس للأهل قبل الأولاد يعني.
لا هي أكيد للأهل لأنه الولد بالنهاية رح يعمل اللي عباله وما فيك تلومه لأنه إذا الولد either بده يقعد ما يعمل شيء literally ما يعمل شيء وانت قاعد على تليفونك حده or بده يقعد على تليفونه obviously he's gonna grab his phone or iPad and play while انت اذا بتقوم تقول له يلا تعال نروح نركض برا او let's play a soccer game او هي هون بتجي responsibility. ليش عم نحكي دخلك على هالموضوع بس anyway انه هون بتجي responsibility انه هون بتجي responsibility انه لا ما فيك تقول له يلا قوم وما تعطيه alternative بحمس لانه obviously هو ولد وبده
بيلعبوا جولف
مثلا خذوا يلعب جولف اكيد.
شفنا كيف we went full circle.
طيب ليكو انا عندي سؤال ما خاص بكل هذا الموضوع. Let's talk about regrets. عن جد دايما في هالموضوع او الجمله او السي يلي بيقول انه ما لازم تو ريجريت شيء صار معك او شيء عملته انت هيدا you learned from it you grew up من هالشيء. yet sometimes ما فيك غير ما deep down regret في شيء انت خي ندمت عليه او ما بعرف هيك. what do you think about that? do you think لازم كل شيء انت not to regret anything وتقول لا منيح صار هيك لا منيح صار هيك I learned هيك او شو؟
هلا في there's a saying بالإنجليزي there's the the silver lining في منها بالعربي
هي اسمها silver lining.
silver lining
لا ما بتصور
يعني it's like the hidden benefit. it's the benefit that you don't see.
لا تكرهوا شيئا لعله خيرا بيقولوا like don't hate something that could have been ما تكره شيء that probably will turn out to be in your favor eventually.
مظبوط.
silver
so هلا كمان it depends on your view of life right. I think there's probably at least two different types of people. There's people who have very much a growth mindset. Every setback is a learning opportunity. They move and grow from it. And then there's other people who might less of a growth mindset, more focused on stability, security, maintaining the balance in life. Where sometimes setbacks are just negative experiences, right? And I'm sure there's people in between, right? I know I like to lean towards more of the growth mindset. I wouldn't say I'm totally like that, but whenever there's a setback in life, I hate to think of it مثلا as a regret. Yeah, right. But instead, oh, you know what? That was a missed opportunity, or I made a mistake, or hayallah, whatever. But there's always a silver lining. There's something you learn from it and you move on, right? That way, that creates a bit of resiliency in your life. No matter what happens, you find the positive and you move on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, life can be very stressful, right? And you might, it's hard to live like that, where you're constantly stressed about everything that goes wrong. But some people do it more gracefully than others. I don't know if I could live my life like that, but I'd like to at least, take something, learn from it, and then move on.
من هيدي القطشة يعني خدها
حتى مثل ما هي
يعني هيدي خدوها تعلموها فهموها
60-minute mark يمكن ما بعرف لا كتير حلو how you labeled إنه في two types of people
وفيري يعني
totally agree
عن جد
أنا the way I see it I'm on the more of مثلك on the growth side of things إنه okay صار هيك on to the next fuck it يعني إنه this is gonna waste my time إذا بقعد بفكر فيه while obviously you learn this it's never إنه بتخلق هيك أو شيء you learn it إنه توصل لمرحلة تقول إنه إيه أنا I regret إنه كل وقت كان أفكر إنه I regret this and that مدري شو what the fuck am I doing يعني move forward إنه it's a waste of time عن جد obviously كلنا رح نعمل شيء eventually we're gonna regret obviously كلنا عنا إشياء بنفكر إنه لو صار هيك بس eventually it's just a feeling and feelings aren't facts eventually it's just how you feel you may feel إنه أنت هلا إنه بدي شوكولا whatever it doesn't mean you should go eat the chocolate عرفت so point is خلاص eventually if it's not helping you move forward drop it وكفي
yeah well come on I think it's a function too come in of your life your age when you're younger you're more growth focused right because you have more to look forward to in life the years are
less to lose
when you're older you spend most of your time thinking about what you did in life, right? And there's not a lot of room left for growth. So you might lean more towards like stability and security. I'll give you an example. It's a small example. You can relate. Birthdays, anniversaries, you take your family out, right? Mom, dad, like let's go on matam. It's amazing. Food, it's amazing. We go to a Brazilian steakhouse, masalan. We get the food, we're eating. No good. What do you mean no good? The food was amazing. They're like, no, يا ريت رح كنا بالبيت شوينا على الجريل. Like they don't like to try new things. No matter how good it is, in their mind, خلاص, what they know is good enough and they don't want to learn new things. They don't want to try new things. So it's a function of age too, I think. Your personality changes and you have a different risk tolerance too.
أنا معكم more leanings towards growth. But do you think هيدا يعني ال two categories اللي قلتهم أنت هني they aligned أو similar مع ال cup half empty cup half full mentality إنه هذا هو ال perspective دايما positive perspective أو negative perspective? I would say sometimes somehow it's aligned مع هالشي.
Yeah, I think it's I'd say it's oversimplification.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's very binary. Half empty, half full. I think it's more of a spectrum where you might lean more towards one and then lean more towards the other. Yeah. So there's a lot of space in between.
Yeah, أكيد لا.
But yeah, I think it's very similar, right? You favor positive thoughts that move you forward versus the negative ones that set you back.
Nothing is binary in life بالمبدأ.
Yeah.
But
binary code.
ما هي إذا you think about everything in general كمان zoom out على كل شيء إنه في ناس بيقولوا this happens for a reason. Well, I mean إذا بدك if you say so it did happen for a reason but also if you don't say so then it didn't happen for a reason and it's completely meaningless. لأنه at the end of the day إذا بتفكر فيها zoom out بعد أكتر كلنا رح نموت يعني بالآخر فهول الأشياء اللي بتصير they're small hiccups وعند ناس it's different يعني مثلا أنا هلأ I'm in a space إنه in crypto and NFT space رب الريجرات يعني ما في الا ريجرات يعني بتعمل لك 30,000 in one trade بس بكره بس بكره بتطلع على 60,000 you regret it بتخسر انه عرفت. so this really taught me انه bro you're gonna feel this eventually. What it does to you or how you react to it is what's gonna matter eventually. وما خص half full or half empty it could be بلا انه بس مش يعني انه in a way انه ايه واو ماتت بسنتي amazing معلش الحياة حلوة. لا مش هيك مش
ما كان قصدي هيك. انا سميتها half full mentality يعني ما قصدي half full half empty يعني حدا شوية leaning towards دائما يشوف قد ما في positivity وحدا leaning ما قصدي اياها انه ما مش هيك قصدي.
ما انت اصلا ما binary.
انا I have a secret hobby I didn't tell you about.
شو؟
بدي ارجع لورا انه
I'm بيقتلوا بسينات.
I'm gonna edit my response my جواب. من شي كم سنة I got into like poetry.
لا.
Nice. يلا.
It's like very existential stuff.
Damn.
So poetry, it's more philosophy poetry. Khalil Gibran, right? Well, from there I started bouncing around between a couple of different ones. But you know, Khalil Gibran, he was Lebanese. I was like, oh, it's an easy introduction, right? Very relatable. But on my path, there was a quote, and I'll never forget it. I'll bring it back full circle. One of the quotes was, "Happiness is not how things are arranged in your life. I'm sorry, arranged in your life. It's how they're arranged in your mind, right?" And to build on that one step further, it's most people decide to be happy ahead of time, right? Not during the moment. So if you're going to go to a party, you've already decided in your mind you're going to have a good time, not after the fact.
Exactly. It's همين خليل جبران إيه يعني ولا أنت طلعت فيها أنت طلعت فيها.
It was on my journey throughout his novels that I've discovered it. But
no, أنت you wrote it basically.
I must have picked it up from somewhere. Okay. Yeah, أكيد I didn't develop it.
Okay. It's very nice. I like it.
Unless I'm a poet.
لا صراحة you seem like you are. Other than the way you speak, you sound like a philosopher. It's
philosopher / very إذا بدك بحس كتير organized thoughts اللي براسك.
Which is why you should start your own podcast / YouTube channel for real. مش مازم.
Go for it. صوتك براية.
عن جد صوتك براية. مش مثل أنا anyway.
نحن technicalities علينا. ألا أنت بتحب تساعد ولا نحن علينا technicalities. أنت just go for it.
But you're absolutely right. أصلاً. let's say بتقول بدي روح انبسط بالبارتي obviously plus the anticipation is more fun than the actual thing. For example Christmas morning the build up towards Christmas morning انت ولد احلى بكتير من انه بس يكون في توعة ويكون في gifts. عرفت انه the anticipation in your head انه واو قد ايه احسن plus وقت تقول انه exactly your point وقت تقول انه I want to be happy عم تحط deficit. I think قلتها المرة الماضية you're putting a deficit between yourself and happiness. عم تقول انه you're signing a contract that you're unhappy until you do this to become happy basically. So which is exactly what you said, the way you said similar to the way you said it يعني it's in your mind بنهاية إذا بتقول إنه I want to be happy هونيك إنه شو I'm not happy يعني.
I have a couple more happiness quotes. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I don't know why now they're coming out.
Yeah.
The fool seeks happiness in the distance, but the wise water it underneath their feet.
There we go. Nice.
And there's another one. I'm sorry. No.
بأمريكا ما بقول لك عشت. أنا بقول لك عشت. بس يقول لكم عشت.
There's another one too. It's the grass isn't greener on the other side. It's where you water it as well.
Exactly.
So it's like where you put in the effort. That's where their happiness will be.
This also goes back to what you said in the beginning and أنت قلت I would want to live where I am because I'm happy where my friends are with my family. So basically the grass isn't greener be California although it might be because الطقس أحلى.
I think a lot of people مثلا بيفكروا إنه happiness is something that happens to them. But in reality there's a couple things that make you happy. Well, if you spent مثلا like an hour or two just thinking about it you'll know what makes you happy. Right? So for example كلهم بيسألوني مثلا in consulting في كتير بيشتغلوا 2-3 سنين ويفلوا. That's it. They're not happy anymore. وأنا بقول لهم أنا كنت بالconsulting شي 10 years. Wow. Like what's the secret? Tell them a secret. There's 3 things, right? I put up 4. 3 things. The first is working with smart people. I have to be around smart people because if I'm not learning from them, then I feel like I'm plateauing, and that's not definitely the situation I want to be. Okay. Rule number 1, surround yourself with smarter people. Rule number 2 is do something of value that's perceived by others as valuable, right? So the work I do actually has meaning. Someone can use it. I can see, like, it's got tangible results, tangible impact. I can measure it. So doing something of value, that's one of my conditions, right? So that's condition number 2. And then condition number 3 is having autonomy over your schedule, right? So having control over how your day unfolds. That's actually probably my number 1 most important criteria, right? Because I don't want people to control my time during the day, especially if I'm trying to focus on the interesting things that I want. So as long as those 3 criteria, those conditions exist, I'll keep doing what I'm doing till I retire. Or drop.
That's very, very nice and very valid. The second circle once again. While skiing تبقى لعب مع ناس أحسن منك.
Yeah.
That will that will help you out a lot.
You want to hear something funny? So when I went to ski, we took a lesson, right? They pair you up with instructors. They teach all new beginners. ثابت إنه نحن we got an instructor who's a professional. بس كان فاضي يلا بساعدكم, right? So he volunteered. So he had an instructor. He trains professionals in the Swiss Alps. ما بعرف وين. So he said, "Yalla, get together. We're gonna learn to ski." All right. We grabbed the poles. He's like, "No poles." We're like, "What do you mean no poles?" He's like, "No poles. You're gonna learn to ski without poles." He's like, "People get reliant on the poles. You're gonna learn how to ski without them." We're like, "Okay." Now, if you gave me the poles, I wouldn't know what to do. Because we learn all the movements by anchoring to our core, our center of gravity, and, guiding the feet and using our weight to maneuver. We weren't hunched over relying on poles. So it was really interesting. And I was really glad, Keith Statement, and we had a professional teach us for that course.
Yeah. Nice. حلو. أنا أصلاً I heard إنه البولز إنه بيلبكوك أكتر من إنه بيساعدوك أول شيء كذا بتضيع إنه وين
بتحطها. And you rely on it مثلاً to move forward.
Right. صح.
You pull yourself.
Exactly.
أنا مرة مان كنت عم بلعب سنوبورد ووصلت على مطرح ستريت. أوكي أخذت البول من حدا بس تدفش حالي ترجع أصير على نزلة. وصلت على النزلة وبدي أنزل. ما عرفت شو عامل. ما تعرف ألعب سنوبورد يعني ما بنكت
كتير سعيد.
ما بعرف.
صراحة Elias, you're a philosopher. عن جد إنه whatever that means. بس إنه what I mean by that is that you have a nice outlook on, in general, not just
about lots of
life or your work. And okay, your work. Usually people are binary about work. I'm happy or I'm not. And the way you say it, إنه okay, 3 criteria that have to be met, and they're all met. Once one of them, let's say, is not met, I'm gonna bounce and go to another job or whatever, which is nice. And again, you should start, like, I don't know, it's a new, and like consider it a new hobby, like creating content or some things that I know you don't have to think about it in a way. No, I want to create content. فيك تفكر فيها إنه I'm helping others, because this will benefit a lot of people, by the way, whoever watches it, they will benefit from your perspective, or just a different perspective, which is nice. I know I benefited from it.
Oh wow,
definitely. عن جد أنا personally أخذت benefit من هالحلقة way more than I expected, anticipated for.
low expectations.
هذا دايما
شو قصدك؟
جيت ماشي قلت يا عمي شو بدنا نعمل. مش مزبوط، يعني بعدين ال 21-22 episode لقطعوا هيدن بروف انه نحن كل دائما انه العالم اللي بيجوا لهون انه هن مش عارفين لا شو جايين نعمل، ما بعرف شو نحن بنقول لهم لا هلا بتشوفوا how it might go.
بتجرب.
وهيدا بروف
بلس انه كل الحلقات تبعنا we just don't have any expectations، لانه the conversation could range from going this deep to نحكي بس عن something very fun.
Yeah, you let it flow naturally.
That's why I know expectations.
Yep.
Anyway, بننهيها مثل العادة.
Yeah.
One piece of advice could be about anything.
About anything. About لا حيلا حدا. For anyone about anything.
ممنوع تقول زعتر.
Oh man, piece of advice? Yeah. I feel like I've been dropping advice this
whole
you session.
فيك تقول stay hydrated يعني بدك يا حيلا.
Honestly, the piece of advice is don't take life too seriously.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that was the soul searching I did the past couple months. If you just focus on just work, eventually you lose sight of the time. You know, people come in and out of your life. You don't realize some of the relationships that you had and you could have worked through even more. So don't take life too seriously. You know, focus on the things that make you happy. Be a good person.
Very nice. Beautiful. Ajad, beautiful. Thanks for coming, man. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I hope you had fun or enjoyed.
Absolutely.
Nice. Guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. See you on the next one.
Bye.
Peace. Bye.